Conversation Points by Leon Sinclair. Part 1 of 2. The most fundamental point to grasping the Great Awakening as an encapsulated concept in itself is, strangely, the shape of the earth you are standing on. Not the earth in front of you, presented to you in the education model, but the earth that you are actually standing on. Without a complete and personal revelation of this fact, your ascensional prospects are somewhat non-existent in all honesty. There's a lot of newcomers to Christian 21's information and revelations these last few months in particular, especially now the website is up and running. The Telegram and Rumble channels have exploded lately, not coincidentally, just as Christian said over 3.5 years ago. Towards the end, Leon, loads of people will realize that I'm not off my nut after all. But it won't happen till the very end. My mother told me that the scales will tip at the end. Everyone on the fence will realize it will all start to make sense to them, and millions more will twig it, but only at the end, and look where we are right now. Look at the disclosure level so far for anyone awake. At any rate, the sleepers and sheep didn't know that anything even happened. So long as their furlough rolled in each month through lockdown 2020, they couldn't give a monkey's. And that's the reason that they are about to lose all their money and savings in a banking crash. Oh, why, out loud? Because this is not about savings, retirements, Jasara A-Lions, or whatever normal people assume. It's not about Trump, Putin, Zelensky, Zhang Yuan, Xi Jinping, Merkel, Starmer, or whoever the fuck. Whack. Fuck. A mebid will not fix you, and the forgiveness of all debt will not help you. You are in a period of time known as the Great Awakening. It's called that because many revelations will be made available, then spoon-fed at great speed in a lockdown. These revelations are well discussed in many, if not all, cultures throughout the ages the time is now, since 2016 onwards. I was chatting to Christian the other day in the van about lockdown and about thoughts that I had myself contemplated many times since 2020, but Christian brought it up. What did the nurses and healthcare people think when the nation was out on the streets clapping for them, while they well knew that the hospitals were empty and they had nothing to do except rehearse choreographed dance routines to songs like Jerusalem? It's a fair question. Nurses, what was going through your minds while this period of revelation was transpiring? We are genuinely very curious. It's plagued me for 4 years, personally. I was at Colchester General Hospital within 2 weeks of lockdown. I saw with my own eyes how empty it was. In the coming weeks, I went to graveyards that were closed. I went to ice skating rinks that were also closed, as opposed to storing dead COVID victims. I spoke to nurses who held the party line without second thought, regurgitating an NPC hierarchy down reply to awkward questions, eyes widening slightly, shifting left and right as they recount the explanation to someone who clearly knows more on the subject than they know absolutely whatsoever themselves, save the fact that apparently 55 million people are out on the streets clapping for them for some obscure reason. You NHS only knew that over 55 million people are clapping for you every afternoon, and that there are no sick people in your hospitals. That's all you knew, but the public had a different perspective. The public had a death toll counter on every news channel all day every day for 18 months, and a PCR test set to cycle 40 times, massaging the results to 95% false positives, but the frontline healthcare system, well, they just foolishly went along with all the media applause, while knowing full well that they had never been this quiet before in the history of nursing itself. Forget the red shoes for a minute. This by itself is serious shit, genocidal compliance on an international level by 99% of healthcare staff all over the world. Well, you see, if I were a nurse and I went to work on shift to an empty hospital, after the first day when I realized that people were clapping for me for no reason whatsoever, I would certainly speak out. I'd be like, what the fuck are they all clapping for us for? We haven't done anything? Someone please explain or I'm quitting and going home, 'cause something well dodgy is going on, clearly. There is no coming back from that, let that sink in. Forget beard oil and tight jeans for a minute. Forget the gym tomorrow morning before work. Are you in a job that placed you in the front line of COVID during COVID? A teacher, a GP, consultant, midwife, nurse, dentist, council worker, social services personnel, CAFCAS, police, etc. Were you yourself in a position through employment circumstances, public office, where your role was to inform a person or persons about staying safe during COVID and getting vaccinated? Or were you allowing vaccination on your premises? Maybe you are a manager of a supermarket where vaccination was going on in the car park. Maybe you're a head teacher? Maybe a nurse? It doesn't matter, because if you allowed this to continue after died suddenly became a thing, then you are well fucked, basically. I'll cover this again here for the newcomers, as I know how annoying it can be to spend ages scrolling through info looking for old posts. But we have been saying this for 4+ years now, so to us lot, the resonating army, it's all old news that is easy to assimilate and explain to others so that if they choose to, they can escape this simulated toilet matrix completely before the time is too late to escape. There is one main point and 3 subcategories. The main is you have been lied to, so were the people who educated you, and those before them, and so forth. 1. Religion. 2. Finance. Perceived knowledge, intellect. These 3 categories solidify why people will not make it through this intact. Their rationality will dissolve, some faster than others, yet the end result will be the same, psychological collapse for most. You must extrapolate this information and hypothetically place yourself inside a situation where this type of incidents might occur. Try to observe it all from the outside if you can. Look in on it all the mud floods, the free energy, Tartaria, the orphan trains, orphanages themselves. OPA's out-of-place artifacts, architectural splendor of 200 years ago till now, is that progress or resets? I reposted a TikTok video the other day about dead people's ashes going into the ink used in tattoos. This post got a lot of mixed emotions, and rightly so. It's outrageously stupid to add the carbonated remains of dead people's ashes to tattoo ink. To contemplate this is lunacy in its truest form. Are you naysayers who refute this assertion, completely sure in the courage of your convictions that your perspective is true? How much do you even know on the subject? If I want my house rewired, I'm not going to ask an unqualified electrician to do it, am I? And neither would you. It's not that you are stupid. It's that you are using perceived knowledge in the assessment of this new information. It's not a matter of who is right and who is wrong. Neither is it a matter of, I told you so. We all know chemtrails had toxins in, and all barium and aluminum. Baal or Baal, and we all know that these toxins cause a plethora of issues over many years of exposure: Alzheimer's, dementia, premature cellular aging, skin cancer. We are also aware that they added fluoride to our drinking water since the end of World War II. We also know that Satanism is real. Ask any police chief from their FEMA camp cell, and most of us are aware that there are human remains added to all multinational food corporations' products by their deep state affiliations, glued together with the adhesive of Freemasonic secrecy, everyone singing from the same hymn sheet, decade after decade, centenary after centenary, and reset after reset. You can't trust the science when the scientists speaking out are killed, ruined, censored, or put in prison. All that leaves is Freemasonic scientists left on the pitch to inform you of what the cabal wanted you to think. 15+ years ago, over 9,000 scientists, real ones, signed a petition against the reality of climate change. 9,000+ people, weather experts, geologists, marine biologists, chemists, all signed this petition stating that in their industries, fields of research, there is no evidence whatsoever to support climate change, over 9,000 of them. There are more climate experts who do not agree with climate change than there are who back it. But they were all silenced quite easily, because the media is also owned by the same people who are poisoning your food and water, adding dead people's ashes to your tattoos, and trying to get aluminum in you at every opportunity. Even mainstream deodorant has aluminum oxide in it, and women wonder why they get breast cancer. It's mostly because of nanoparticulate aluminum oxide being sprayed directly onto the armpits of billions of women, in particular, around the world every day for the last 40 years. The armpit is very close to the mammary glands and cephalic and intercostal veins and the bloodstream. Mammary gland tissue is ideal for cancer to get started in, soft fatty tissue, easily pH shifted quickly to an acid state, ripe for cancer. That's why they put aluminum oxide in deodorant. Fluoride in water is not for healthy teeth. And I have seen several experts for stating this publicly ruined for telling the truth, or even killed for it. EO, or ethylene oxide, is the most carcinogenic compound known, so why did they sterilize the medical swabs for the PCR test, a swab test that actually went up the entire nasal cavity to the actual blood-brain barrier? The closest open access to the very barrier that protects your brain from external pollutants, and also 50% of all medical equipment in this advertised carcinogen. Think about it if you haven't already. The most carcinogenic compound known to science, and they openly admit that they sterilize swabs that were designed to go right up the back of your nasal cavity. To the blood-brain barrier itself to test to see if you had a lethal virus that you might be unaware of. A virus so fucking deadly that you had to be locked down for and stand at least 6 foot away from the next person in case this ultra-contagious virus spread. If it was so contagious, why the need to swab right up the back of the nasal cavity at the very blood-brain barrier itself? And with the world's most carcinogenic compound? Think. There have been more human remains found in McDonald's burgers than there have been bovine remains, fingernails, fingertips. Several human teeth have been recovered from McDonald's patties, publicly over the years gone by. So why is the notion that tattoo ink has dead people's ashes in so upsetting? It's literally the very least of your worries. Go and get more tattoos, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever, because you have been systematically poisoned and dumbed down with technology and chemicals since the moment you were born. The reason that they put dead people's carbonated ashes in tattoo ink is because of the same reason that they add the desiccated and ground human bone waste from sacrifice to all construction materials, like I said before the other week. Bone china was not made with cattle bones, bone china was invented with, and for human bones back in the last reset, they wanted you drinking from vessels made with the bones of your ancestors. Cement has a lot of ground bones in it. Obviously, it will not say that on the side of the bag. It will have a designated material number, same as E-numbers. On food products, these E-numbers are mostly made with human remains. Plaster, paint, cement, tarmac, plasterboard, etc., all has human remains in it for the same reason as tattoo ink has frequency suppression. Christian wasn't joking when he said, they didn't miss a single trick, Lee, they covered all bases. Interestingly, Donald Trump owned most of the world's cement factories. What a coincidence! All. And the ones he didn't own are owned by other deep state cabal assets. Take The Truman Show, The Wizard of Oz, Gulliver's Travels, Alice in Wonderland, Never-Ending Story, and Jupiter Ascending. Mix them all together, and the result is what happened here. Gulliver's Travels was a documentary on Tartaria. Watch it again now with your new understandings, if you have them yet. The Pleiadian people are actually former Terran souls who escaped, and were not trapped in here when this first happened roughly 100,000 years ago, Earth years ballpark figure. The Pleiadian people are now highly advanced versions of their original Terran brothers and sisters, who are mostly stuck in here for the entire duration. Poor bastards, no wonder they can't wake up. But if one of these Terran was to wake up, or is in fact awake here now, when they ascend, they will evolve with upgrades to the speed of their now new Pleiadian counterparts. Your soul family, who are here in this loop with you now as your son or daughter, nephew, brother, sister, maybe a colleague or close friends, or in some cases merely passing acquaintances, these people here with you now in this life, have been with you in all of your loops here in third density. All of them, it's all our soul families outside could do for you. Keep the pod cluster together where possible, each loop until the end, and in some cases for the 4,000 that lasted 178,000 years, let that sink in. But when this is all over in the coming months, and we are all back to normal again. What you went through in here with those incarnated soul family members will strengthen that bond exponentially. Don't forget that nothing like this has ever happened before in the history of physicality. In the entire history of physical creation, nothing like this had happened. It's like a new school set up for the first time, a brand new school teaching health, homeostasis, well-being, truth, honesty, and manifestation. But kids from the rough estate round the corner came and fucked it all up in the beginning stages of spirituality and well-being. Before the first graduates graduated, it all became soured with greed, lust, sloth, gluttony, pride, spite, hate, competition, and parasitic power struggles. What you have lived through in the last 30,000 plus years, for the sum of souls and 178,000 years in totality, has been a complete aberration of creation itself. It's important to understand that physical life itself is quite a new thing. Physicality is only about 2 billion years old. 2 billion years may sound a long time, but time itself is also fake, so forget what you thought you knew about time, because time isn't real. It's another illusion made possible by third density overlays, shortened daylight cycles, clocks and watches everywhere you look, schedules and appointments, all cement in the idea of time. Linear time isn't real. Well, it is real here in third density. Time is elongated, stretched out like an elastic band being pulled apart between one's fingers. In contrast, back home, you can understand time in the same way with the rubber band analogy, except back home, it's not being stretched for you, you do the bending and stretching of time yourself. No one is ever late back home, nothing takes longer than expected, and there are no accidents, not ever, not anywhere. The only time someone would expect to be injured, wounded, harmed would have been in battles with the parasites over you in here. Literally, that's the only time someone would be in any danger. Back home, 1 second of time, here in third density, is elongated and perceptions are regulated by reduced, augmented day and night cycles introduced. A clock, turning into a pocket watch over the years, then a wristwatch, then a digital clock, then a mobile phone screen displaying the time and date, locking in your schedule to a fixed point in time. There are not 24 hours in a normal day back home. Back home, a day is 3.9 Earth days, and it never gets dark, as in pitch black. Darkness itself is satanic, because it is dark, dark equals bad, and light equals good. From darkness to light. So dusk is as dark as it will ever get back home, and one day lasts almost 96 hours, not 24 hours. It's all an illusion, a technological illusion, powered off of your own consciousness's understandings of reality, a reality presented to you through schooling and education. And now AI has taken over what you can and can't see online. There was no truth to any of it, not a shred. This is why we talk about perceived knowledge holding people back. Perceived knowledge, religion, and finance are the 3 strings you must let go of to make a clean exit when the time comes, otherwise you will remain here with most others. And when I say most others, I don't mean 10 billion people. By this time there will only be 520 million people here max. The rest, 97% of the population, are not what you thought. NPCs, inserts, clones, and synthetics, although mostly NPCs. There are also hybrids here with you, serving food in burger joints, working in Tesco's supermarket, teaching your kids, and taking you to work in taxis. It's going to blow people away when then see what happened and who was in their proximity for so long, but let me not digress. Where was I? 520 million people left after the EMF, which will happen while the world is still locked down for the EBS. Towards the end of the fake alien invasion, which will be mostly Project Bluebeam, advanced holographic projections. There will be no real UFOs in the sky during the fake alien invasion. It will all be holographic, except benevolent high-density ET tech holographic, and what you know of here as holographic are very different things. We have all seen the new type of holographic projections used in the Far East in shopping centers and advertising. You may have seen the whale diving out of an indoor basketball court as a presentation. Well, our soul families have much better tech than that 3D junk, and our benevolent tech is located in the valve at Metmeru, Black Rock, Hyperborea, North Pole. It's situated there because from that central location, They can project out to the entire realm inside this ice wall. There will likely be some ET craft high up, observing the display, but they will not land or interact in any way. They are not stupid, it's fucking double dangerous down here, and they are obviously well aware of this fact. Also, it's not for them to intervene in the human's trauma. For our soul family, they are delighted understatement that this is all over at last. Don't forget that they remember you. It's you who forgot them. They have missed you like absolute fuck. Imagine not seeing your own children or family for 178,000 years. For them, it's way less than that. Existing outside this ice wall is nothing whatsoever like living inside it. Nothing at all. There will be no ET getting out of UFOs and walking about on the ground. It will all be a well-staged and fake holographic sky battle, only. It will look, trust me, Christian said that. Some people will think I lied, Leon. It will look fucking real, that some of them will start remembering a reset and what happens. It's just that when the news showing groups of people getting abducted on TV by UFOs, 100 or so at a time, literally levitated off the ground and beamed up, they are going to properly shit themselves in a very big way, mate. This is what they showed me when I was younger, Lee. I remember dreams and visions where I'm really high up, and I can see people running about in terror, packing the car with essentials, and speeding off down the road, all of them, Lee, everyone sprinting, running back and forth, but they didn't know where they were going. They had nowhere to run to, people in sheer terror just going. Which is what a reset was for, loosh, adrenochrome, and sacrifice. Every 1,000 years, for about 30,000 years. The First World War's date was 1914 to 1918, and it was only in the late 1890s to 1900 that the last reset ended over here, and they started to repopulate the planet. So one of the main reasons for World War I wasn't anything to do with Archduke Ferdinand. What a load of bollocks. World War I was to get rid of everyone over the age of 16, basically anyone who survived the reset, and was not stuck in a lunatic asylum, was in the war getting killed to erase the old world memory forever, as all the new orphans being distributed over the planet's surface were mostly clones, because they just harvested the whole planet for adrenochrome. Adrenochrome comes from children and was the parasite's main product of desire. So the kids on orphan trains were the newly grown crop, grown in facilities underground in Dumbies. You see, it wasn't just the parents who were killed, tortured, raped, and eaten to death. They ate all the kids too. Those children in the orphan photos are mostly clones. The orphans were created without parents, created in labs in the Dumbies. The entire population on the surface, including all children, are annihilated after being used for sex, food, and satanic fun. That's what a reset is. Continued in part 2.